Hello everyone, my name is SeaTactics for the win, otherwise known as Ben, and it seems I can't stop talking about Symphogear on my channel for one reason or another. Whether it be my Season 1 review, which you guys can go check out, my first impressions video on the new season, and of course, my predictions video, and really just a video about talking about how I'm so excited for this final season of Symphogear. Oh! And the video I made telling you all you should watch Symphogear for the last year's 12 days of anime. So basically, I'm a huge Symphogear fan. And I was going through my anime list and I was looking at the scores. And I don't really put a lot of stock in the scores too much. As you can see here, I have pretty much each season rated a 10. Because it doesn't really mean much to me. And I love Symphogear. So I'm like, whatever, give it a 10. Other than that, I don't really care too much. I don't put too much stock in scores. But a good way to determine what the best shows of the season are is to go on MyAnimeList and look at what's airing and look at the top rated anime to see if you should check some of these anime out. And I found something surprising. But before we go over that, I want to talk about how with each iteration of Symphogear, with each season, it's not only gotten better and better, but it's gotten to a point of where you watching right now, you maybe should actually consider going through all 5 seasons of Symphogear. We'll talk about that more in just a moment, but first we're going to go over each of the review scores on MyAnimeList. So, the first one here, this is the first season of Symphogear. This is Symphogear Season 1, and with 28,000 users, this season got a 7.08. That usually means it's a pretty good show, and if you are a person who's looking to watch anime, generally you will probably like this. You will probably find issues with it, but you will like it. And I agree. I think Season 1 of Symphogear is pretty good. It's not one of the best seasons, but it's humble beginnings. And it really demonstrates to you as the viewer that this is going to be a pretty fun series. And I never actually expected this to get a Season 2. But lo and behold, Season 2 of Symphogear G, as it's called, got a 7.52 with basically 18,000 users if we're going to round up. And once again, completely fair score. I think it's safe to say that, yeah, this season in many ways is better than the last season. I do think some of it is weak, though. I think some of the logic in Symphogear G is kind of wacky and doesn't make much sense even to Symphogear, because Symphogear is basically, think of it as a continuation of Dragon Ball Z, but in the best way possible. It's just crazy stuff happening on screen at every moment. People are parring tank shells with their hands, slicing battleships in half with giant swords. It's a fun time. Explosions everywhere. We joke about all the time on the Symphogear Podcast on Rising Sun's channel, which you definitely should check out. We joke about it all the time, how this series is directed by Michael Bay, but if Michael Bay was really good at writing. And that's pretty much what Symphogear is. That's how I would describe it. And Season 2 exemplifies that maybe a little bit too much and goes in a direction that it's a pretty interesting direction, and it's a season that has a lot of importance in every other season to come after it to this very season. There's a lot of callbacks in this season, in the final season of Symphogear. Let's talk about Symphogear Season 3 though, GX, a 7.5, generally the same rating, generally the same amount of users at basically 12,500. I think this is a better season than Season 2. This season though also has some issues with memorability. I don't remember much about Season 3, but for the most part, Season 3 of Symphogear was generally alright, and actually I think the final climactic battle of this season is really good. Of course, the main villains in Season 3 is Carol and Elf9, which I think is a really interesting villain. But once again, this is pretty much just more Symphogear, more goodness, with a lot of twists, a lot of cool action, a lot of great action in this season, actually. But here's where the show starts to take a turn for something a little bit more interesting. Something you may actually find surprising when I say this. Symphogear Season 4 has a 7.69, and to me, that's underrated. I think Symphogear Season 4 should be more around the 8 mark, because Season 4 of Symphogear has a very mature story. It tries to fix a lot of its logic, and it succeeds in mostly doing some of that while still having a lot of the ridiculous standout moments that make Symphogear awesome. To me, after I watched this season, really while I was watching it, it said to me that Symphogear is really freaking great. At this point, this is the turning point for Symphogear, in my opinion, from just being an idol-ish inspired, like Kill la Kill, Dragon Ball Z, One Piece kind of show. It turned into something that is dramatic, had a great story, great characters, lots of callbacks and payoffs. But here's something a little interesting. Let's head on over to Vinland Saga. We see it's got an 8.56 out of 33,000 users. It's the highest rated show. Almost. Symphogear Season 5 has an 8.55 out of almost 2,000 users. And granted, it's only got 2,000 users. But Symphogear Season 5 is tied with Vinland Saga for being the highest rated show of this season. That isn't a mistake. Not for one bit. Symphogear Season 5 so far has been one of the best shows of the year. And I'm not saying that just as a Symphogear fan. This season is phenomenal. There's callbacks to every single season. If you've sat through and watched all four seasons of Symphogear before this, and you remember at least one thing or a couple things, that's getting brought back up in this season. And not only is that getting brought back up in this season, that is getting a big moment. That is getting a big reaction, because they take care to deliver this season to the fans in one of the best ways imaginable. They pay off so much stuff from the last 4 seasons. They have callbacks. They have characters from the previous 4 seasons coming back in this season to give the fans of Symphogear what they want, because this is the 5th season of Symphogear. But not only is it the 5th season, it's the last season. And I think the reason why this has an 8.55, which is 0.01 point lower than Vinland, and it at some point may even overtake Vinland for a moment, I would not be surprised. The reason Symphogear has an 8.55 is because it's become a great show. At this point, it has become a show in which you absolutely should pick up and watch Symphogear if you consider yourself a person who is a fan of anime. And I truly do believe that, because the last 2 seasons of Symphogear have been incredible, have been amazing, have been jaw-dropping, and this season has had episode after episode where I've went, that's the best episode I've not only saw of Symphogear ever, but I've seen of this season so far. And yeah, sure, Vinland Saga and Symphogear are different shows. You shouldn't really be comparing these two ostensively, but I think it's just as good as Vinland Saga. I really do. And yeah, if you like Vinland Saga, chances are you may find Symphogear a little bit distracting, a little bit, I don't care about this, it's just fan service. It's nothing like that. If you like Battle Shonen, if you like Dragon Ball Z, if you like Vinland Saga, if you like action, if you like good dramatic stories with good characters that you can like, and if you like really good music, because the music in this season is phenomenal. If you like Fate, if you like any of these shows or more, chances are you're gonna fit right in with Symphogear, and it's gonna treat you well. Symphogear from season 1 all the way to season 5 has been nothing but good, And it's gotten to the point of where I think Symphogear is great. It's a really great series, and I'm sad to see it end, and I don't want it to end. But it is going to end soon. And I want to make a lot of videos on Symphogear before it ends. And this is one of the videos I wanted to bring you today because I think it is surprising, I think it's fascinating, and I think it's interesting that Symphogear Season 5 is, along with Vinland Saga, the highest rated anime of summer 2019. That's just my opinion, though. I want to hear what your thoughts are on Symphogear Season 5. If you've been watching it so far, please tell me what you think about the moments. Of course, be careful not to spoil others, and if you do have to comment a spoiler, go ahead, but make sure you put a bunch of space so that people have to click the Read More tab when you get into the spoilers, because I don't want people to be spoiled on this. This is such a phenomenal, a great, fantastic series that I want people to get into, and if you are curious, please go watch my first impressions of Symphogear Season 5, and also go back and watch my review of Season 1. I think you'll find that you'll probably be surprised at some of the things I talk about in my opinions. Also, if you want me to review Seasons 2 through 5, drop a like on this video. If this gets enough likes, I'm thinking 20 to 25 likes, I'll do a review of all of the seasons of Symphogear that I've missed. And as well, you should probably know that on Rising Sun Reviews channel, we are talking about every single episode of Symphogear Season 5. So links to his channel description. We go live every single Sunday talking about Symphogear Season 5. Me and him talk it out, hash it out, and we need a lot of commenters. We want some people that know about Symphogear in the live chat talking to us, interacting with us. We'd all greatly appreciate it. So with that being said, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Click on some of these videos if they find you fancy. And make sure that you just know that I have a Patreon where on the $1 tier and above, you can support me there and get access to literally everything on it. Thanks everyone for watching. I appreciate it. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.